Diaspora and the Wound. Episode 5. 5 years after the sky broke. 5 years. I have been 5 years in a country that is not Kabul. I say it plainly because plainness is sometimes the only honest register left when everything ornate has been exhausted. I live here. I function here. I have learned the bureaucracies, the transit systems, the emotional vocabulary of a culture that is not mine. I have accumulated the surface markers of a life that, from the outside, might look like integration. But I carry Afghanistan the way you carry a wound that has closed over the surface while remaining unhealed beneath, pressing at unexpected moments, aching in weather you cannot predict. More than 8 million Afghans are currently displaced. 8 million. That number is larger than the population of many countries, and yet it moves through global consciousness with the half-life of a news cycle. The Afghan diaspora is scattered across Iran, Pakistan, Turkey, Europe, North America, Australia, a population dispersed like a language broken into its syllables and dropped from a great height, each piece landing separately in a different soil among people who do not know what it means to say the word home the way an Afghan says it. The word home in Dari Kana carries a weight that does not fully translate. It is not only a place, it is a system of belonging, a web of obligation and love and history that stretches backward and forward in time at once. I watched Nowruz come and go in this foreign city, the Afghan New Year, arriving on the vernal equinox with its ancient insistence on renewal. I found some of the things, the haft miwa, the 7 dried fruits steeped in rosewater, in a shop run by a man from Afghanistan whose eyes carried the same exhaustion I see in my own mirror. We did not need to explain much to each other, but the celebration was hollowed out, the way a ceremony becomes hollow when the people who give it meaning are not in the room. The mountains were not outside the window. My mother was not in the kitchen. Renewal felt theoretical. The children of the diaspora are growing up in this absence. I know families whose children speak Dari only at home, in lowered voices, as though the language itself requires protection. Children who have never seen the Hindu Kush, who know Afghanistan through the grief on their parents' faces, through phone calls made in the other room, through the way their father goes quiet when the news comes on. These children will grow up to be Afghans of a particular kind, hyphenated, translated, shaped by a homeland they have never touched. I do not say this as a lament. They are resilient. They will build identities from the materials available to them. But something is lost in the translation that does not arrive in the destination. The phone calls home have become exercises in restraint. You learn quickly that certain words should not be used, that certain names should not be spoken, that silence in the middle of a sentence is not a pause, but a deliberate edit. You speak in code to your own mother. You ask how the weather is, and she tells you the weather is cold, and you both understand she is telling you something that has nothing to do with temperature. Surveillance is not paranoia in this context. It is documented reality. Phones seized at checkpoints, conversations monitored, people arrested for private words. So you speak carefully, and the care costs something. Over 5 years, the accumulated cost becomes significant. And then there are those who never made it to exile at all. Pakistan and Iran, the 2 countries that have historically hosted the largest Afghan refugee populations, have conducted mass deportations, expelling nearly 2 million Afghans back into regime-controlled territory. 2 million people returned without consent to the conditions from which they had fled. This is a betrayal so layered, so compounded by indifference, that it is difficult to hold in a single thought. These are not statistics. These are families, mothers, children, men who had built lives in the narrow margins of tolerated presence, handed back to a system that considers them, at best, subjects, and at worst, enemies. I ask myself sometimes, in the quiet hours of this foreign city, who am I now? I am Afghan, but Afghanistan, as I knew it, no longer exists in the form that made me. I am a document of a country that has been revised without my consent. I carry its poetry, its mountains, its grief, its pride, its pomegranate trees, and the particular amber of its August light. And I ask, is that enough to be a people? Is a people still a people when the place that named them has been taken? We carry the country in our bodies. That is both the burden and the proof of survival. And so, This is where I pause, not because the story ends here, but because it continues. What you've heard is only the 5th chapter of a journey carried by millions. Follow this story in the next episode, where we explore what it means to rebuild identity, purpose, and hope after displacement. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please subscribe to my channel, The Local Nexus, and share it with your network, because stories like these should never be buried under the dust and ashes of time.